Welcome to the 2017 Military Tribute. Please stand for the Color Guard procession. Please join us while the Pledge of Allegiance is led by Jessica Schmidt, U.S. Navy 2003 to 2009. She was stationed in Washington, Afghanistan, Japan, Korea, and the USS Enterprise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please continue to stand for the singing of the national anthem by Jenna Kirking, a 2015 graduate from Lincoln Way West. She currently attends Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, pursuing a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting degree.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We would now like to welcome Chaplain Robert Gerard, USS Air Force, 1961 to 1965, and a retired police officer after over 35 years of service, and chaplain for over 14 years.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege and an honor to be here forgive me for the bagpipes. I haven't practiced in a long time. I just want to say I was called into this event by Chaplain Bill Siston. He is the one that has performed this ceremony for the past 8 years now, according to Jason. This has been going on. I want to commend everybody that's come out today to honor our military, police department, firefighters, those who have passed military, those who are now serving overseas, keep them in prayer, and also our police and fire. As you all know, according to news, a fire truck was recently fired upon in Chicago. There's no safe avenue to anything. There's in the Beatitudes, Matthew chapter 5, verse number 9, it says, blessed is the peacemakers, for they should be called the children of God. All these that I just mentioned are peacemakers. Your police officers, your military, present and prior, the fire department. They put their lives at line each night. We go to bed, we rest comfortably, we don't think about what's happening around us. But there's wars going on. There's, as well in Chicago, we hear about the shootings and killings, and it's all very disturbing. I didn't come out here with anything particular to say, and pray that God would just lead me and put the words in my mouth. So I pray that you all be comforted by what I have to offer you insofar as prayer. But I do want to lift up right now and praise God for those that have continued the good fight, those that put the past and fought the good fight, and those that are currently fighting these fires and not knowing where the next harm's coming from, whether it's going to be a burning building or someone shooting at you. Unfortunately, we live in this world today, and I did, when Bill Siston asked me to speak today, Proud America Day, that's something that's really gone to the side. We don't really think about what a great country we have. I love this country. I thank God I was born into it, because if I had to go with those that are coming overseas here to become Americans, insofar as knowing the Constitution and all the laws that occurred over the period of time, they have to really study, and they work hard to become what we are freely given. You know, in 1620, the Pilgrims landed in Cape Cod, and the first thing they did was they bowed their knees on the shores of this great country and gave prayer. Don't let your prayer be negated or any such thing, but be proud that you can pray. We have a free country. We can pray. We can still pray. We can still honor God. Some of us didn't attend churches today because we're here. And I want to present somewhat of a church atmosphere to you today as well. Like I had mentioned, I love this country and I thank God for it. There's, we fight a spiritual battle, whether it's in your household or whether in the military or whether in the police department, firefighters. We're fighting a spiritual battle. The Bible says in Paul's epistle to the Ephesians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So when you see all this evil coming about you, it's not the person you're arguing with, it's the atmosphere we live in, it's the spiritual principles that we have to fight daily. And I'd like you to keep that in mind as well. You know, it's the Bible says, let not the wrath, the sun go down in your wrath. And before my wife died, we always had an argument. I would say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm wrong somewhere, or you're wrong somewhere, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, we'll work it out in the future. And that's something that can be worked out with each and every one of us. I want to thank those residents of New Lenox that just came out to pay tribute to our military, firefighters, and police officers. You know, I know I have my wallet, I still have my police credentials, and I pulled out my wallet to pay a bill recently, and the person that was taking my money, she says, thank you for your service. And I never heard that before. I was in that Vietnam era. I think many of you, military, I see a lot of gray hair, so I'm sure you were in there during the time that Vietnam wasn't very popular. But I just want to say how honored I was to hear somebody say thank you for your service. So thank these people. You get to see them around after this time. Give them a thank you. I want to thank the Park District, Katie, who's done an excellent, Katie, Connie, and Jason in the Park District. They help put this together and keep it going. And I pray that it never stops. And that's another prayer for me to each and every one of you, that you continue with what you have. You have a great village, and it's one Proud America Day. That's something that's unique. It's I don't know of any other village. I do a 9/11 ceremony each year, but Proud America, a day just to celebrate what we have. It's a gift from God. God gave us this country. He gave us the people that want to actually serve this country by going to the different venues that I have just mentioned. So I praise God for each and one. Right now, there is the 4th book of the Bible. It's called the Book of Numbers, and there's a blessing in there, and it's for each and every one that is here today. It's alive. It was written in Hebrew, translated us to English, but it says, blessed. You know what? I don't generally speak to such a loud crowd, so that's probably why my bagpipe was all over the place, and as well as my thoughts. I wanted to write something down, but I couldn't see everybody, and I want to see everybody just to see that you are being blessed. I'll tell you what. I'll close with, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter than honey in the honeycomb. Moreover by them is thy servant warned, and keeping them there is great reward. And these are the servants of God, the military, and you as well. And it's my prayer for each and every one of you. I'm not going to take much time now because there's a large venue. I appreciate the national anthem. That covered up the back. We forgot about the bagpipe because it was beautiful. So thank you so much for having me. I know you didn't invite me, but you're stuck with me. But God bless you all, and keep the smile on your faces. We have a great country.
Thank you, Chaplain. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, Brian Fisher, Park Board President for the New Lenox Community Park District.
Morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me? All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. I also want to thank our speakers behind me for taking time out of their day to speak to us this morning. And I also want to thank the Park District. This 4-day event ends today, but planning for the 2018 Carnival actually starts tomorrow. So it's a lot of work, and it's all because we have a great Park District staff. Our Executive Director Greg Lewis is with us today. So I just want to say thank you. I want to give a round of applause to our Park District, if you don't mind. Okay, we're here this morning, of course, to honor our vets, our past veterans, and our current veterans. But this is also the first year that we're also honoring our first responders, our police, and fire. So thank you very much. In the past, I think last year I spoke pretty much on how, as an average citizen, how can we honor and show honor and respect to our military for the life that we live. And last year I spoke about community involvement, getting involved, helping to serve others. To me, that's one of the best ways to show respect and honor our military for the life that we have. So I just kind of want to expand on that thought for a second. Last year, my wife and I got involved with a one-day program. It's the third Saturday in December. It's called Wreaths Across America. I'm sure a lot of you out there probably have participated. A lot of you probably know about it, but some of you don't, so I just kind of want to highlight that program. A little history on that program. It actually started in 1992. There's a wreath distributor in the state of Maine, one of the largest wreath distributors in our country. He had roughly 5,000 wreaths left over. Didn't want to throw them away, so him and a group of volunteers went down to Arlington National Cemetery and laid them on the grave sites down there. It basically just took off. So in 2007, it got so big, they started a not-for-profit 503c company to put wreaths on graves, and they call it Wreaths Across America. And of course, their mission is to put as many wreaths on grave sites and the military veterans, as many as they can. But they also came up with 3 core mission statements, which I thought was very interesting and I want to share with you. The first core mission statement is remember. Remember our fallen U.S. veterans. Second, honor those who serve. And third, teach our children the value of freedom. And to me, that's huge, because as grandparents and parents, we have to teach our kids the value of serving our community, of serving our country. They're not born with it, so we have to lead by example. So, to me, that's one of the most important of the 3, I would say. So, since lastly on the history, Wreaths Across America estimated last year, 2016, over 600,000 people laid wreaths at over 1,200 locations around the world, stateside, at sea, and also on foreign soil. So that kind of leads me to, how did Wreaths Across America come to New Lenox? Well, 2014, our fire department at the time was led by Fire Chief Steve. Him and the president of the trustees, a fellow by the name of Skip Minger, he's still president, and also another trustee, Joe Levy, and his wife, Tammy. The 4 of them said, let's do Wreaths Across America here in town. So in 2014, they went to the local businesses, they raised $6,000. Now, wreaths are $15 a piece, so that's 400 wreaths. 2015, they raised $10,000, that's roughly 650 to 700 wreaths. Last year, they raised $16,000, that's 1,100 wreaths. It's roughly the 3rd Saturday in December. Last year, December 17th. This year, it's going to be December 16th at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. We went to the cemetery. It starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, so if you're going to go, get there early. There's 43,000 plus grave sites at the Lincoln National Cemetery. Last year, the fire department and a ton of other organizations, they laid a little over 15,000 wreaths at the Abraham Lincoln Cemetery. Now, the ceremony starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. They have some speeches, they have the 21 gun salutes, and then they release you to your work area. We had a section that was 1,800 tombstones. We had 1,100 wreaths. We laid those wreaths in about an hour with all the volunteers we had. Now, it's not a race. The proper way to do this is if there's any snow on the tombstone, you wipe the stone off, or the snow off. You say the name of the fallen veteran. You thank them for their service to our country, and then you gently lay the wreath against the gravestone. Make sure it's secure so it won't fall over. Then you move on to the next one. They estimated to be 5,000 people there last December, and they laid, like I said, over 15,000 wreaths. Now I was talking to Skip. His goal this year, like I said, the section that the fire department had 1,800 grave sites. They laid 1,100. So his goal, the fire department goal, is to raise $27,000. So that's 1,800 wreaths. So that's their goal this year. If you know Skip and Joe and Tammy, they're going to do their darndest to raise that money. And one of the things that Skip wanted to tell me to convey to you people is that when they would go to all the businesses in town to solicit donations. Now, if you're a business owner, you know that you're always getting beat up all the time from all the organizations in towns for donations. So that as a business owner, you have to kind of pick and choose. You have to say no sometimes. He said not one person said no to him. So they raised $16,000 last year. Their goal was to raise even more. So Skip just wanted me to convey that he was so impressed with the community support for this program. He wanted to make sure I said that to everybody here. Again, if you want to support the Wreaths Across America, you can go to Station 1 here on Route 30 and give your donation. There's also partners with the fire department that started this program. The partners are Culver's, Jersey Mike's, the VFW, American Legion, the Village, and Dunkin' Donuts on Laraway Road. The guy that owns Dunkin' Donuts, he donated a heated bus last year with a bathroom on it. And if you ever go out to Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery, that is valuable, because when you need to use the washroom, you can't find one. So that was huge. Skip also wanted me to tell you that there's going to be 15 boxes scattered throughout town that you can donate money to. They should be out by October 1st. The money's got to be turned in by November 15th, so they have an exact count of how many wreaths to buy. It's just to kind of wrap things up here. I'm involved with the Lions Club, and this past spring I had to do a little project, and I ran across a quote from Helen Keller, kind of in contradictory terms, because Helen Keller couldn't speak and she couldn't see, but she had an interpreter called Ann Sullivan. But supposedly she said a quote which I think actually kind of sums up what we all feel today. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. So I want to thank you for your time, and may God bless our first responders and our men and women in the military.
Thank you, Brian. We would now like to welcome Tim Balderman, Mayor of New Lenox.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here as the mayor of the home of proud Americans. I want to say thank you to Katie, Connie, everyone from the Park District to put this together. It's a wonderful event, and for all of you for coming out. Recently, there was a local newspaper story that talked about Master Sergeant Del Toro that was recognized at the ESPY Awards. He truly is an American hero that has done so much for our country and sacrificed so much, so it was nice to see him get that national attention. The truth is, in my opinion, any man or woman that puts on a uniform and is willing to protect their nation or protect their community is a hero. And so, as much as I appreciate what Master Sergeant Del Toro did, I certainly do, I want to say thank you to all of our veterans, and to all of them, our police officers and firefighters, to all that are currently serving in the military. They don't get that type of attention. And until every bed is filled at Manteno, until all of the care is provided for all of those veterans, we can't rest, we can't stop. So I want to say thank you to those that support our military, that support our local law enforcement. Seal Barclay always does such a wonderful job. She was just recognized again by the National VFW for working on legislative matters. And I would encourage our legislators to continue to do more to make sure that we're providing the care for those that have given so much. We're fortunate in this community here in New Lenox. I do what I can do and our board does what it can do, but we're very fortunate that we've got good representatives at the state level like Senator Hastings, at the federal level like Congressman Foster, so I'm grateful for what they do. They truly are working hard on behalf of those that do so much for our country. But again, we cannot rest. We need to continue to work hard. Thank you to our military, thank you to our first responders, and to the family of both, because they sacrifice so much so they can provide those freedoms to us. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next speaker is Congressman Bill Foster of District 11.
Good morning, and thank you all for inviting me to speak here today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Congressman Bill Foster. I'm a scientist and a businessman, and it's my honor to represent New Lenox as part of the 11th District of Illinois in the House of Representatives of the United States of America. And I want to thank the New Lenox Community Park District for organizing the Proud American Days and giving us all the opportunity to thank our brave service members and our first responders for their service. You know, in Congress, in Congress, we're very often conscious of the importance of first responders. It seems like every 10 years or so, someone decides to go after Congress or our high elected officials with weapons. Happened earlier this year. And the first responders were there at the baseball game practice, to defend your elected representatives. Did something incredibly brave. It's not different, perhaps, than all of the bravery that first responders exhibit every day in all corners of our country. But it's something that, as a member of Congress, I just want to say that, we feel that every day. Every time we come and take a vote, we walk by members of the Capitol Police with very significant military weapons because of the obvious fears that exist all around Washington these days. So, we have a special reason to thank all of the first responders here, both law enforcement and medical first responders. And we depend on you, as does our whole country. So thank you. And, this event, as a thank you to military personnel, has been part of the New Lenox community since 1984. It's now grown to be one of the largest of its kind in this area. And so what this is really about is our community coming together to say thank you to the men and women who've put their lives on the line for our country, sacrificing so much to keep America safe. These sacrifices cannot and will not be forgotten. Their incredible impact is seen not only in our own safety here at home, but around the world, where our servicemen and women do the vital work of protecting and helping those in need. I see in the first row here a Korean vet, right behind a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, learning the importance. And I just want to say thank you, a personal thank you to the Korean vets here. My wife is Korean, and the only reason that she and her family are free today were the sacrifices made 60 years ago by Korean veterans, and the sacrifices in the last 60 years, standing guard in the tens of thousands as a tripwire against North Korean aggression. In the U.S. Congress earlier this week, we had a long classified briefing about the new dangers that Korea faces from the military and non-military threats in North Korea. So that service as a tripwire and potentially a frontline combatant is something that has been going on for 60 years and will go on as long as the threat from North Korea continues to exist. But anyone who says that the sacrifices made by our veterans haven't made a difference in the world, just think about the difference between life in North Korea and South Korea today. There's a good reason that we have to be proud as Americans. But we also have to remember that for every American that's deployed somewhere around the world, there's also families and friends, loved ones at home, who support them and sustain them every day. There are parents and siblings, husbands and wives, sons and daughters who undoubtedly miss their loved ones very much, but are full of pride at their dedication to the country they serve. And it is all of these sacrifices made both by those who serve and their families that we honor today. There are 40,000 veterans that call Will County home. And on behalf of those people who live and work here, I just want to say how proud we all are to call you our neighbors. We have to continue to work here to help support these veterans, to assist them in their reintegration back into our community and into society. I can say that Will County is doing a really great job of this. Just a few weeks ago, it was announced that through the hard work and dedication of many people and organizations, Will County has ended veterans' homelessness and become the 50th community in the entire nation to do so. Something we should all be proud of. And as your elected representative in Congress, I've been focused on supporting our veterans firsthand, most recently by sponsoring legislation entitled the GI Education Benefits Fairness Act, which would provide increased educational assistance for the children of veterans. I also work every day to make sure that disabled veterans receive the treatment and assistance they need. My offices are here to serve you. For any of you who's having trouble working with any federal agency, or if you feel you've been treated unfairly, do not hesitate to reach out to our district offices in Joliet and Aurora, and so that they can go to work on your behalf, including and especially you veterans. So once again, thank you to all the service members, veterans, and first responders here today. Your service is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Our final speaker will be Senator Hastings. Welcome.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, thanks to the New Lenox Park District. Between Brian, Katie, Jason, we got Greg and Jackie, who I've known since high school. New Lenox is always recognized in the state of Illinois as one of the best park districts across the state of Illinois. Just a round of applause to them. Next to a man who opens his doors to our office, we have a Senate District office in the New Lenox Village Hall. Our mayor is a representative of our people. He doesn't care whether you're Republican, he doesn't care if you're Democrat. He wants to make sure his people are taken care of. And for that, Mayor, thank you for opening up the hall to us and allowing us to be your office. And for a guy who put on the boots, picked up his M4, went to Iraq, traveled down the highway of death, to my brothers and sisters in arms, thank you for your service. The fight continues back at home, and I just ask that we continue to serve. And to the family members, and most importantly, to the wives and to the husbands, to those who served, thank you very much. Being away from home is a very difficult thing to do, and thank you so much for that. I come today to give just a brief update on Illinois and our veterans policies. For those of you who do not know, I am the Vice Chairman of the Veterans Committee for the state of Illinois. Illinois today, I can say, will beat Texas, will beat California. This is the most veteran-friendly state in the entire country, whether you believe it or not. And I will tell you why today. Number one, if you're an Illinois veteran, you have 120 credit hours of undergraduate, graduate, or postgraduate education. It's called the Illinois Veterans Grant. That continues today. It's an awesome program. Raise your hand if you get any property tax benefits out of our property tax exemptions that we have today. We just passed that 2 years ago, which is an awesome, awesome benefit. For the wives that are out there who are wondering, well, what happens to me after my husband passes away and he's a disabled veteran? I filed legislation last year that will allow for the property tax exemption to be passed down to a surviving spouse when the spouse passes away. It's an unbelievable thing. It's something definitely to clap about, and nothing to buy a Porsche over. The last two things I want to mention are for the returning veterans coming home to New Lenox and across the 19th district. Your military service should count as college credits. So when you go to a community college and when you go to an undergraduate institution, you don't have to take those prerequisites. Why do I say that? Well, because you got life lessons. Lessons that people across this country don't have. 2% of us in the population have this life experience, and we're working towards giving a flat credit hour award to veterans returning back. Right now, the current proposal is 25 credit hours. 25 credit hours at a regular institution and a community college will cost you thousands of dollars. Because you serve, because you have those life lessons, you shouldn't have to worry about those prerequisite classes. And last, to my senior veterans that are here today, Manteno is full. You all know that. There's 17 people on the waiting list. Quincy is not full, but you don't want to move all the way down to Quincy. By the end of this next fiscal year, we will cut the ribbon on the new Chicago Veterans Home. It's a great thing. Last, because I don't have any prepared remarks, so I'm not going to speak forever like some politicians do. God forbid if you had me at the mic any longer than I had to be here. My challenge to my brothers and sisters and family members that are, just because you served in the military doesn't mean your service stops once you get home. Your service must continue. At our village level, our park district level, we need state leaders who are veterans with values and that are committed to working hard. That's my challenge to you. I want to let you know that you have a veteran who's not afraid to fight down in Springfield. That I guarantee you. I joke, I say I have 2 scars on these 2 knuckles. I got 2 knuckles left on my right hand. So, with that, I'm proud to serve you. My name is Senator Mike Hastings. I'll be around a little bit afterwards. If you guys, ladies, have any questions, please feel free to step up and say hello. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. I would now like to welcome Connie Starcheski to read our memorial tribute.
First of all, what we would like to do is we would like to honor the World War II veterans that are here with us today and thank you properly. So could you possibly please stand so we can thank you, all World War II veterans? Service. Our heroes today are those who risk their lives every day to protect our world and make it a better place. Police, firefighters, and members of our armed forces. But today we honor with gratitude and we remember Frank Mulhall, Carl Thornton, Ed Murray, Jim Husick, Paul Bouchard, Elva Jr. Smith, Dick Wingate, Joe Stack, Harry Hosang, Eddie Colby, Henry Chavez, James Casey, Ken Patton, Ed Soja, Dutch Hostert, Nicholas Simonak, Richard Grasky, Tom Kusamo, Ken Sobey, John Podolsky, Richard Harms, John Clausen, Wallace Anderson, Tim Simonson, Edward Mark Sr., Adam Bakutis, Jacob Lowell, Bruno Braglia, Harold Burbank, John Burke, Robert Siston, William John Siston, Ed Colby, Raymond Dagnino, Raymond Patrick Doran, James Edward Dunbar, Joseph Gill, William Urbeck, Tim McGowan, John Justice, Robert Kiefer Sr., Arthur Litvis Sr., Louis Mennigan, Carmen Petro, Wesley Starcheski, Harry Prezibla, Matt Surs, LaDonna Slattery, Jerome Slattery, Lawrence Soja, Mark Stanley, Thomas Teeling, PFC Aaron Topin, Roy William Tracy, Howard Tuma, Samuel Walker, John Workman, William Zakrasik, Michael Shaner, Richard Barnhart, Robert Pardee, Calvert Heath, Ben Toman, Frank Bercolo, Julius Cossery, William Race, Jack Bath, Frank Caratlo, Richard Kordaleski Sr., Hedrick Pardee. That's it. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, Connie. Now, we will honor each military branch and our first responders. The United States Army. Our carrier today is Wade Crone, 1944 to 1946. He fought in World War II and was stationed in the Aleutian Islands. He received a 70th anniversary plaque from the DFW for being the last active charter member. Ladies and gentlemen from the U.S. Army, please stand. Next, the United States Marine Corps. Our flag carrier today is Will Barclay, 1945 to 1952. He fought in World War II and the Korean War. He was a gunnery sergeant and was stationed in China. Please stand, U.S. Marines. The United States Navy. Our flag carrier today is Michael Seraphin, serving from 1999 to the present active duty. He was submarine senior chief yeoman stationed in the Pacific and in the Great Lakes. United States Navy, please stand. The United States Air Force. Our flag carrier today is Daniel Yerka, Senior, 1959 to 1963, rank E3. He was stationed in Texas, the Philippines, and Thailand. United States Air Force, please stand. The United States Coast Guard. Our flag carrier today is Josh Kofak from Boy Scout Troop 12. Please stand for the U.S. Coast Guard. First responders. Our flag carriers today are Officer Michael Yerka, New Lenox Police Department, and Lieutenant Jim Hawley, Will County Sheriff Department. First responders, please stand. Thank you to all of our flag carriers. One last round of applause for all of our service members here tonight. Please now turn your attention to outside of the tent for the rifle salute courtesy of the American Legion Post 1977. Thank you. We would now like to welcome Bill Ward to the stage. He is the owner of RCM Heating and Cooling of New Lenox.
We're here today to pay tribute to the men and women of our armed forces and first responders. Many of these folks in the past have been drafted into wars, and others have volunteered to serve our great nation. They protect us from aggression and threats from our homeland and other parts of the world, as well as multitudes of emergencies here at home. It's these people that ensure we maintain our right to pursue happiness in the most exceptional country on earth. We give thanks to these brave people whom we have an unwavering respect for allowing us to take for granted we can live out our lives safely. And so RCM Heating and Cooling, with the assistance of York by Johnson Controls, are giving one AC and furnace system with install labor to the following local veteran: Mr. Wade Crone. And Mr. Wade Crone. Mr. Crone, we thank you for your service to our country.
On behalf of the New Lenox Community Park District Board and staff, we sincerely appreciate your attendance today. The dedication and courage that all members of the military and first responders display is worthy of our respect and honor, not only today, but every day. For those currently serving, we extend our thoughts and prayers to these brave men and women and their families on their safe return home. Our closing song, God Bless America, will be sung by Jenna Kirking.